is.
Okay. Excellent.
So,
Good.
that's it.
Wetlands and open spaces, Trustee Duberstein.
Well, I'm going to talk to you with several hats tonight. Since Willie mentioned PACE, we're going to have a representative from PACE come to the seniors meeting in April. It's the first Tuesday in April. I'll get an article in the newsletter, the next newsletter, because I don't think we're utilizing the services that are available through PACE nearly as much as we could. As individual seniors, they can take you to doctor's appointments and hairdressers and beauty shop, grocery shopping and things. And I think just calling them and getting push one for this and two for that is a little daunting to seniors. And so I thought it would be helpful to have someone come out and talk about their services. So that's open to any seniors in the village, 62 or older, or anyone who is related in the household to someone 62 or older. And you're welcome to come and hear what they have to say. They're also said they would bring some extra brochures that we can keep in the village, so that if you're unable to make the meeting, it's at 2 o'clock on the first Tuesday here in the Village Hall. You can stop by and pick up some literature at the window. Another thing is the village is a member of BEST, which is a community coalition of various organizations in the Round Lake area, and BEST stands for Bringing Everyone's Strengths Together. And I will now be their publicity chairman, so that's something we'll try and get some information into the newsletter about the activities that they have going. Now, as far as the wetland is concerned, we too are working on our budget and various projects that we have in mind for this year. And that's in the works and not completed as yet. That's it.
Okay, Trustee Jaranowski is not here, but I will tell you this. We have a community relations committee meeting scheduled 6:15 prior to the next board meeting on February 28th. And Jackie Brunk, who's one of our residents, she helped us, her and her children assisted us with the Santa event as part of our holiday mixer. And she came back to us and said she'd like to be very much involved in the Hainesville Fest. So she will be attending that committee meeting, and John will be finding out better how much she's able to do or wants to do. So that's exciting. I'm glad to have a resident getting involved at that level. You know, we did with our 150th anniversary, and that worked out really well. So anybody else that would like to join, please consider attending that meeting. And then further under business, we'll talk about the awesome amusements when we get to that business line. So let's move on to business. Item 1, of course, we already covered with Chief McCutcheon. The awesome amusement quote that you have, this is the company we utilized last year, and we were very pleased with their services. You'll notice that we did add a few more items on. We had always wanted the rock climbing wall back, or not the bungee, excuse me, the bungee cord, and we were unable to have it last year because it was already booked. So we put that on the agenda tonight when we got the quote. We added some other tents. We don't want to rent the tents from our other source. We found the tents that we got from Awesome Amusements to be far superior, and they handled putting them up and taking them down. Worked out very well. We want to be able to reserve this equipment. Now, if you read the contract, it says that a 50% deposit is required. I called them, spoke to them. They are very used to working with municipal governments. They understand that this would be paid out of the upcoming budget. So they have agreed that if we put it on our board meeting and we got approval or consensus from the board, if I send them a letter on letterhead saying that we discussed it and we agreed to make the 50% deposit on May 1st, start of next year's budget, that they will reserve everything that is noted on there for that date. So that is what I am seeking tonight, is approval for me to write that letter stating that.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Kreese,
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
And then item number 3, that is the document that we had discussed prior. Jim Rock was authorized to work with John Kelly, the attorney from CENTCOM, to create a document that agrees that CENTCOM will forward 50% of our 911 surcharge money to the Village of Grays Lake as long as they're providing our police dispatching. So the document is indeed done and we need our board approval.
Quick question, Mayor. On the other 50%, where does that go, or who gets it, or
That remains with CENTCOM.
that remains with CENTCOM? Does that allow us then to keep our seat with CENTCOM per se, that if we ever change or anything happens, or how's that work, Counselor?
Actually, that does not,
It's a separate.
yeah, that is not something that establishes our membership in CENTCOM. The rules that guide the surcharge use and collection are statutory, and they can't, right, exactly. And so that it has to be used for specific purposes. And but in answer to your question about retaining membership, there was a separate discussion because the surcharge funds are handled by the JETS board, the Joint Emergency Telephone.
Correct. Okay.
CENTCOM membership is guided by this other agreement that we're going to do tonight. And in terms of that, what keeps the village's membership in there, in the CENTCOM board, is the village will continue to pay its portion of the rent for the CENTCOM building. That's part of the agreement that we reached with them, and on an annual basis, and its portion of the liability insurance.
Okay. I didn't know, I was reading through it, and I was just kind of curious, you know, what happened to the other 50%? That's all.
Doesn't that cover the fire?
Yeah, because our fire.
Okay, because of fire.
Because of the fire department.
Oh, that's right, 'cause, yeah, Maple Farms got like 85% of the village, that's right. Okay, very good, thank you, Counselor.
Okay, any other discussion?
So we still maintain a vote board?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, Jim Rock and I had, of course, attended quite a number of meetings, but we were happy to have finally accomplished at the last meeting that not only did the agreement be reached about the 50% surcharge being forwarded to cover our police dispatching, but I had been waiting for clarification and answers on a question on retaining our membership and our voting rights. The only voting authority that Hainesville will not have is if there's any discussion of ever changing the cost formula for dispatching fees, that Hainesville will abstain from voting on that particular topic as long as we're getting our police dispatch elsewhere. Other than that, we have full voting authority.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I couldn't get this to you earlier. Does the fee we receive, the 50% fee, offset any of our costs that are covered in the addendum number 5?
Yeah, in fact, it almost ironically turns out to be a wash. The amount of our rent that we pay along with the liability insurance almost equals the amount of surcharge money that will be paid to Grays Lake to opt for dispatching.
I just want to clarify though, because what Jerry asked was, does it offset the addendum? The dollar amount that we're talking about for dispatch services, the surcharge funds, that 50% number, is about $5,000. And as Mayor Soto just said, that is almost the precisely same amount of the money that the village will pay for membership in CENTCOM for that annual rent that we discussed, and for the liability insurance. The contract, the addendum to the contract for dispatch services, no, it doesn't offset that.
Okay, so it has no effect on Glenview cost?
Well, it would, in essence, $5,000, that $5,000 in surcharge funds, this 50%, will actually be used to pay for a portion of that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so we're still at the agreement that's strictly for the surcharge reimbursement. Do we have a motion for approval on the table?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Crease,
Aye.
Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Okay, then item 4 is approval of the intergovernmental agreement revising and establishing the CENTCOM 911 Public Safety Communications Center and Operations Board of Directors and operating procedures for the enhanced 911 emergency telephone system. Now, we've been sitting on this document for quite some time. The other villages had adopted, we voted and I participated in the discussion for some of the changes made to this agreement, but I made it clear that I would not bring it before this board for approval and adoption until we also got the answers we needed in regarding to what our status was within CENTCOM. So, based on the fact that that all has been finally resolved, it's our recommendation and the attorneys in agreement that we should approve this intergovernmental agreement.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees Crease,
Aye.
Duberstein.
Aye.
Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Okay, and then item 5, and I had a question from a participant, resident in the audience, and it was a good question. We probably could have made this a little clearer. The number 5 is addendum to police services agreement between the Village of Grays Lake and the Village of Hainesville. This is specifically regarding the dispatch. It's not anything changing or adding to the police services we contracted for. This is strictly for the dispatch part. We talked about this since the beginning, and when we reached final negotiation stage on the police contract, we realized due to complications with CENTCOM and not getting immediate answers that it was going to have to be a separate issue and handled separately. And it has taken quite a bit of time. Now it's been resolved, so now we're putting an addendum that addresses the dispatching. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second by Trustee Creasy. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustees.
Yeah. So these payments per year, you pay so much a month, or are we paying it all in one lump sum? How are the payments going for dispatching and Glenview now? It's just
We're
like-
not paying them at all. We haven't paid anything, other than we did pay that $20,000
Right, I
at the end of
understand that.
December.
Now it says annual fee for dispatch services for 2013 is $60,000.
We can pay it any way we want. I mean, whatever we choose. If we want to pay it in a lump sum, if we want to pay it quarterly, monthly.
So annual, so, all right.
As long as they get that amount in the year, but if we want to do it monthly, quarterly, the village said whatever we want.
And what, if you're looking at this this payment schedule, what were our